What's up, Crusaders? Welcome back to another episode of Arcade Crusade. Today's video will actually be the final video in the Whirlwind series. This will be part 4 in our little cleanup series. I initially thought part 3 was going to be the last one, but I ran into some issues like always when you're rebuilding a pin, and I just want to show you guys exactly what I did since the last video. And now this game is like 110%. I shouldn't have to do literally anything on it. So let's take a look at what we did and we'll go from there. So first things first, I got Whirlwind in the lineup. So next to Twilight Zone, and Whitewater's next to it. I have it turned on right now and just got it leveled, set to the right pitch in the corner. So we're good there. I completely cleaned up the speaker panel and everything. You know, we did the new topper in the last video. And basically what happened is my side ramp was in really good condition, but my main ramp was in just okay condition. So what happened was I was playing a game after moving it into place, and my ramp flap, and it's hard to see because I have the glass on, but my ramp flap, and this is a new ramp flap, but my original ramp flap just broke, and it broke straight from the ramp. It completely cracked my ramp, and I was like, well, great, now I got to replace this whole ramp. So I put an entire brand new ramp from Starship Fantasy. So Starship Fantasy makes a ton of the reproduction ramps. I actually have a Starship Fantasy Bigfoot ramp on my Whitewater and Disaster Drop. So I replaced both those ramps. Those are from Starship. So they make a ton of reproduction ramps, and the way you get this ramp is it comes with both of these two rubbers and metal plates pre-installed. That's pre-installed. You get the rivets up top by the, when they aren't actually rivets, they're actually screws now, essentially. They have threads on the other side. That is pre-installed. Yeah, so all the hardware comes pre-installed on it, and when I got that, I got a new ramp flap as well. The new one just attaches with some nuts, so it's a lot better design if I ever need to replace it. So basically, when that cracked, I had to remove the entire ramp from this game. And I was in the middle of filming some TPN stuff and some other stuff, so I didn't have time to film pulling the ramp out of this game, but I essentially just want to walk you through what I did. So first thing you're going to do to take the ramp out, you got to take off the back plastic with the light board. It's got two screws, one there, that comes off. It's got two connectors on the back. The connectors pull off. Then you're actually able to get to the ramp. Once you're in there, there's two different ways you can take your ramp apart on Whirlwind, and I find the easiest way to take it off is not to actually unhook the switches under the playfield, because the switches are in this long wire loom that runs like the whole length of the cabinet. So there's really, like, yeah, you can disconnect them from back there under the playfield, but it's not really worth it. What I did instead is all of these flashers pop out with two clips. So I popped out all of my flashers. I took off my Skyway toll covers with two screws on each one. Skyway tolls are off, and then these have these micro switches that connect to the metal flaps that are on the ramp. Those metal flaps come pre-installed from Starship as well. But you take those switches off, and then you just take off, there's ramp mounting screws, I think 3 or 4 of them back here, one in the center here, and then your diverter has to come off, which comes off underneath the playfield. There's a set screw that goes into the arm of the diverter. Loosen the set screw and your diverter will pull right out, and then you have to remove a nut here and one here. So if you take all that off and just unscrew your switches and just pop the tabs on your flashers, the whole ramp can come out and all your wiring can just sit there. So what I did while I was waiting for the Starship Fantasy one to come, I basically just had all my wiring sitting there and I was just waiting for it. And I figured if I have the ramp out of the game, I might as well fully rubber this thing, because if you remember in the last episode, I didn't rubber this. I just cleaned up the original rubbers aside from the slingshots. So while I was waiting for the new ramp, I completely added clear Titan rubbers. So the entire game, except for the posts, I left my colored posts on just because I like the way they look. But all the normal rubbers, I went with orange small ones for all of our posts up there, and then I went with clear everywhere else, and it turned out super nice. So yeah, once I got that main ramp off, I swapped all my rubbers out. I cleaned all my plastics while I was doing that. It was really nice because I was able to clean the entire game once you get that ramp off. I cleaned the side ramp. I'm not sure if the side ramp is a replacement or if it's an original, but it's in really good shape. And I cleaned it, and it literally looks brand new. I cleaned up the wire form, resoldered the wires on the wire form because I didn't like how they looked. So that's all been done. Everything is like super nice. I replaced some foam behind the targets. Some of the target foam was destroyed, like right up there. That's brand new foam. So I did all that. The yellow pop bumper right here that's got the ring, the light socket was kind of flaky, so I cut that one out, dropped a new one in, and resoldered it, so it's got a new light socket. So I completely overhauled this game off camera. So this is like one of the nicest Whirlwinds, you know, aside from a little bit of playfield wear around the discs and, you know, a little bit of playfield cracking in the out lanes, which is common because this is not a diamond plate Whirlwind. I wish it was. Diamond plate Whirlwinds are expensive. Aside from that, though, everything on this game is beautiful. I mean, we got the Cliffies by the cellar, Cliffy there. You know, I completely cleaned the diverter up when I had it out, and everything on this game is super nice now. So I got the new ramp from Starship Fantasy, and I basically dropped it into place. Well, they come without the stickers, the decals installed. So Whirlwind, you got to install 3 decals. And if you watch my whitewater video where I installed decals on the Bigfoot ramp, basically the same process. You line them up, do about half of it, get it nice exactly where you want it, peel off the other half and do the rest. So this bottom street decal, this one with the bird that goes up, and then this one on the side is kind of a pain because it's so long, so I taped that one up. But the new decals, I think I did a pretty good job installing them. They look really good. So brand new decals on that. Like I said, the new blue rubbers there are installed. They come new with it. Put my diverter back in, and then I didn't replace the Skyway tolls. Starship Fantasy sells them. Mine were in pretty good shape. That one has a little tear. The other one's basically perfect. They were like $30. I didn't want to spend the 30 on it, and I figure if I ever want to replace them, that's the easiest thing to replace. It's 2 screws. So I didn't do that. I did have to run a new zip tie here for the wire when I took everything apart, and I zip tied one up there as well. But basically, when I got it, the ramp flap and the ramp are separate. When I had it on the bench, I tightened them together, and then we dropped our brand new ramp in. And I had to put the clear protector on top of it that keeps the ball in there. I had to put that on. But I dropped my brand new ramp right into place. You got to do a little bit of wiggling to get it into the ramp flap, but now we're having no ramp flap issues. It drops and goes up just absolutely perfectly now. So ramp flap, you get it in, and then you have 2 screws there to mount it with, one right here, and then your nuts down here. Your diverter has to slide through. Underneath the playfield, there's a set screw, like I said, and it just goes right to the the main shaft of the diverter, and it kicks it over during gameplay when it knows a ball needs to be locked. But so now this entire game, I also replaced a couple LEDs that I didn't really like. This game has warm whites, and normally when a game is this blue and colorful, I like to do cool, but I did not want to spend the money on comments right now. So I'm leaving it warm, and actually, you know, warm, it really does not look too bad. And like, let me turn on Twilight Zone just to give you guys an idea what they look like next to each other. But I don't think it looks too bad with warm. And there's the noisy clock. I don't think it looks too bad with warm. But now everything in this game has been completely overhauled. We got our Cliffies, new flippers, new rubbers everywhere. I liked that I went with orange for all the posts. I think there's just a lot of orange accent on this game, and if you can do some more orange and make it pop, it looks really good. But Yeah, so brand new ramp installed from Starship Fantasy. I'm super happy with it. The new ramp flap is super nice. The side ramp cleaned up super nice. The wire form cleaned up super nice. I mean, this game has literally everything now. So display is nice and bright. Like I said, I put cool whites back there. Our back glass looks good. But yeah, no, this is Twilight Zone with cool whites. And then we have Whirlwind next to it with warm whites. So looks a lot better now. But yeah, I was pretty bummed. I played probably 10 games on it and the ramp flap wasn't acting right, and then it just completely cracked. And it was fine because the main ramp had like a weird divot in it, and sometimes the ball would get stuck and I wasn't happy with it. So I knew I was going to replace it eventually, but I didn't want to do it now. So yeah, it's pretty easy to pull the ramp out. I just suggest, instead of unplugging things under the playfield, if you're only doing a ramp replacement, you can just undo all the flashers and the switches and drop your new ramp in and be done with it. But now this game is even one more step overhauled than it would have been. We got our rule cards on here as well. Original apron is in great shape. Really, you know, new balls in it. I can't complain about really anything on this game now. Yeah, and there it is next to Twilight Zone. I think it would look better with cool whites, but even with warm, I don't really mind it. And the warm kind of, it doesn't look bad with the storm theme. So.
Oh, that's like rain.
And I put some different colored flashers in the whiteboard back there just so it looks a little bit cooler. But yeah, it's Whirlwind is now completely overhauled, even one more step. So I just wanted to do a quick, turn it off just so it's not as loud. I just wanted to do a quick update video now that I have a brand new ramp in it and this thing sparkles. And I got new clips for all the flashers too. I reused the flasher domes, so those are still the original red ones. They were in good shape, but I got new clips because the clips are all yellowed and they look terrible with the ramp. But yeah, I mean, we fixed a pop bumper light. I should have filmed that because I don't have that filmed anywhere, but fully rubbered the game and everything. So, and I really like the look of these side blades. So now Whirlwind is like 100%. So that is just a that was just a quick update to what I've been working on. So just the final video in this series. It ended up being 4 parts because I had to fix all this stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys.